where we bring you updates of the teacher who tortured a pupil at Loriana Ribalingua School with a cutlass with the aid of his friend. The teacher who is seen applying pepper on the naked pupil he flogged with a whip and cutlass has been arrested. Gamje Breeze, who equally used a hammer to crack the boy's fingers, was arrested this 25th day of February 2022 as he tried to escape. Katrina Kongwe with details in the following report.
A primary school teacher at King's Primary School, Carnaval, a neighborhood in Douala, has allegedly tortured a pupil for stubbornness. The torturing instruments included a hammer, cutlass, and pepper, which he forced the minor to consume while rubbing some on his body. The teacher, My Media Prime Television got his name as Breeze, was working under instructions from the parents of the deceased pupil, who he claims asked him to discipline the child whenever the child is stubborn. After severely torturing the minor, the teacher recorded a video apologizing for his act, saying he does not know what came over him.
I know the world is angry at me. I am pleading for your forgiveness, because what I did to that child was inhuman. I don't really know what happened. On my own way, I thought that was a way of correcting a child, but I want the whole world to have mercy upon me, to forgive me, please, to have mercy upon me. I am not at peace, because my conscience is really judging me.
Cases of violence on children have been making headlines recently in the country. Just a few weeks back, a man from the west region of the country beat up his own daughter to death for stealing 40,000 francs. And in the north, recently, a certain Lamido equally beat up his nephew to death. At press time, Breeze has been apprehended and is currently under police custody.
We stay in the Lithoa region, where ex-workers of Bolore Zone Pathway Bonanjo today staged a protest action outside the company's headquarters, demanding 8 billion francs CFA from their former employer. The workers, carrying placards, say after working for over 15 years, the employer has failed to respect their initial contract. They equally denounce failure by the company to hand their job certificates and other legal documents despite pleas and dialogue that has failed countless times. Here's an excerpt of one of the ex-workers after today's protest.
We don't work with Bolore for almost 15 years, and when they take a container terminal, they will sign contract with government, say they will take up for 15 years. So the 15 years will pass on 2019, December 2019. So they're supposed to give me what they call, I said, job certificates, and then they give me salt to cook on. Since then, we don't go with them for court, we don't go with them for minister don't send me for court send me back for delegation, for littoral, for job. Say, we will come, they will come out before they will reach for, they will argue with them. When they ask them, they say, wait. Even delegation has they say, okay, propose you guys and something. They know they propose nothing. They already can't do it. They say no. We have our document. That's what we want. Because today we have people that are not working. You can't go and present, apply somewhere that I've worked with this company without having a job certificate. At least, and we have retired personnel who are unable to have their end of month pension because they don't have the legal documents to go and give to the CNPS. So that's what we are here to do. Make a movie and make a movie here. Let the high authority here say, so small patcha go Bolore to play it. You know people want to get the document. Retire people are going to get their money. People don't go retire and see 2 years today, they don't get their money. So now why we here today? And as we don't write about that bandero, since they don't want that, we don't want anything else. You know, they ask the politics, not even the Nsah. We ask them that you will law. So Cameroon law don't put that in place.
From the Lithoa region, we move over to the Nsah region, where executives of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party of Professor Maurice Kamto has called for the release of its 110 activists still in detention after their conviction at the end of last year by the military courts in Cameroon. The call was made by the party's third vice president, Emmanuel Sim, during a press conference in Yaoundé yesterday. Join Gang with details in the following report.
Yesterday, February 24, 2022, the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party, under its president Maurice Kamto, announced its comeback to public debate on media platforms after several months of silence. The declaration was made by the party's third vice president Emmanuel Sim during a press conference organized at the party's headquarters in Oja, Yaoundé. According to the party members, after the condemnation of the executives and militants of the MRC at the end of last year, the party had decided to keep silent. This was a silence of combat and even a silence of pain. As explained by the national third vice president, the resistance fighters of the MRC therefore kept silent to mark the occasion and challenge the people in the face of the flagrant and permanent violation of their natural rights. The political party members equally used the occasion to call for the release of the over 101 militants still in detention in Cameroon after they were sentenced by the Cameroon Military Tribunal. The party members went further to describe them as political hostages according to the Cameroonian criminal law.
The mortal remains of Senator Barista Henry has been laid to rest in his native village, Balikumbat. Thousands of mourners gathered at the Bamenda Regional Hospital mortuary yesterday to bid farewell to Barista, described by many as a politician and lawyer who did not compromise in the face of injustice. Northwest correspondent Charles Kibwa with details.
The mortal remains of Senator Barista Henry has been removed from the Bamenda Regional Hospital mortuary pending burial in his native village, Balikumbat subdivision in the northwest region of Cameroon, with a heavy heart but in total submission and gratitude to God Almighty. His painful exit, February 23, 2022 at the Northwest Court of Appeal before funeral mass at Catholic Church in Tenefo Upstation, where loved ones gathered to pay him last respect. The senator and barrister of law was described as an astute politician, lawyer who did not compromise in the face of injustice.
He's legendary. He served this nation with a lot of dexterity, abnegation, and alacrity. He is somebody that all of us we respect because of his integrity, because of his probity. He was somebody who was not very compromising in his stand.
Thousands who jammed the Bamenda Regional Hospital mortuary, his Prosperity Chambers Commercial Avenue for a brief stop, and at the High Court in Bamenda for judicial honor before Requiem Mass in memory of him at the Catholic Church in Tenefo. Like Senator Buxilo of Mentum Division says, he will always be in the hearts of many. The SDF family and Cameroonians will always remember him as a dictionary in this country lost.
When you're a lawyer, you cannot go to politics. There are many lawyers that have joined politics. He also joined politics and he became a senator. And thanks to the Social Democratic Front that brought him in and pushed him out. Maybe if he had only stayed in the lawyer, the world could have not known him as they have known him now, as being a senator. Because what he has presented in the world, all the press, TV stations, papers, you must see Senator Barista commended.
Northwest administration at the judicial honor was led by Northwest Governor Aldolf Lele Lafrique, who honored him with a bow before his casket. To the representative of the bar president,
An accusing finger, and the accusing finger is to all of us. It is to the administration, it is to the forces of law and order, it is to separatists, it is to us, the community, it is us, the lawyers. When we live in a community and we say somebody is good, everybody is saying, oh, Kemende was good, but in the midst of everybody, somebody killed Kemende. So who is responsible? All of us are responsible.
Senator Barista Henry born into a polygamous family on April 4th, 1966 at Balikumbat in Gokuchunja Division, will be laid to rest tomorrow, 24th February 2022 in his native village. He leaves behind his wife, children, grandchildren, brothers, sisters, colleagues of the bar, the Senate, militants of the Social Democratic Front, Prosperity Law Firm in Bamenda, friends of the press, panelists, and other people whose life he impacted nationally and internationally.
Now, a 3-day training workshop to empower some 30 internally displaced women from Way, a locality in Mencham Division of the Northwest region of Cameroon, kicked off today in Bonabere, Douala. The women who have come from northern regions of Cameroon have been drilled on practical tips on successful creating and running a business. Still on day one of the training program, the women gained skills on the production of liquid soap, amongst other detergents. Here are excerpts of the event.
Training is the first of its empowerment initiatives, and particularly it is geared towards empowering women, and particularly IDPs, to be able to grab some skills on how to produce liquid soap, body lotions and other detergents.
I am very happy today. I have not eaten since morning, but I am full. I am full of everything. I have learned much today. Yes. Now I am proud that I can make my liquid soap with no mistake.
Pupils in Limbe 2 subdivision joined their peers nationwide to celebrate the 23rd edition of the National Mother Tongue Day. The event took place on Tuesday, February 21 at the premises of Government Primary School Mokudange, as Kuma Honore tells us.
Over 43% of the 6,700 languages spoken worldwide are faced with threats of extinction. Only 100 of languages are effectively valued in the educational system and in the public domain, while less than 100 are used in the digital world. It is against this backdrop that the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization set aside the 21st of February every year as the International Day of the Mother's Language on a specific theme. This day was instituted on the 17th of November 1999 and seeks to redirect spotlight and deploy strategies with resources geared towards fostering language diversity and multiculturalism in all regions of the world. The basic education family in the Southwest region joined the nation and the international community to celebrate the 23rd edition of the International Mother Tongue Day to educate on the challenges and opportunities encountered while harnessing the values of ICT in the teaching and learning process of the mother tongue in schools. Welcoming hierarchy, teachers and pupils, the Inspector of Basic Education for Limbe 2 Subdivision, Madam Elsie Mbekem Anyi Bridget, said, "It is not by accident that the Limbe 2 municipality is hosting this year's edition of the Mother Tongue Day." She thanked the Divisional Officer for Limbe 2 Subdivision, Cedrick Albert, whom, despite a very short notice, graced the event with his presence and logistic support. In her keynote address, the Regional Delegate of Basic Education for the Southwest region, Madam Rose Bume Elangwe, said, "Languages are determinant for development with regards to the promotion of cultural diversity and dialogue between cultures, strengthening cooperations, equal access to quality education, preserve cultural heritage, building of societies with inclusive knowledge, among others."
Every child comes from a family, and every family comes from a clan. So you now can see that it is only our culture that can identify us. Thus, it tells us the importance of mother tongue.
The celebration was marked with the presentation of socio-cultural and extracurricular activities such as fashion parade, choral music, traditional dances, sketches, all in the vernacular or native languages of the presenters.
Still ahead, hundreds of shops have been destroyed at a new Bear neighborhood in Douala this Friday morning. The demolition exercise took place on the instruction of the Senior Divisional Officer for Wuri, Benjamin Butu, who justifies that the city needs urban order and restructuring. Nora Kakebi tells us more.
Several shops located at the ancient Total New Bell neighborhood in Douala, in the Douala 2 subdivision, were demolished today, February 25, 2022, leaving many business persons around the area frustrated. While some of the stranded shop owners are contemplating on the next move to take, others simply lament over their huge losses as most of their commodities were being looted during the demolition exercise. It should be noted that the demolition was ordered by the SDO for Wuri, Benjamin Butu, and carried out in the presence of the elements of law and order. According to the authorities that be, the purpose of the demolition exercise is simply to bring about order and urban restructuring in the city. They also added that the traders were illegally occupying the piece of land disputed by some two individuals whose land certificates have not yet been recognized legally. It should be recalled that many other demolition exercises have taken place in other neighborhoods in the economic capital. However, the local population laments the fact that most often they are never pre-informed of the demolition and authorities just show up with bulldozers to destroy their houses and other properties, leaving them helpless. While some of them say they were not pre-informed and they need some form of compensation and an alternative site to settle, authorities still insist they had been given prior notice.
Cameroon's Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manawuda Malachi, has officially announced the fourth round of vaccination campaign against COVID-19 across the national territory. The information is contained in a communique signed February 22nd, as Eileen Sama tells us.
In an effort to intensify the vaccination of its citizens against the deadly COVID-19 virus, the government of Cameroon will carry on a campaign to that effect in all its 10 regions from the 16th of March to the 20th of March 2022. This information is contained in a press release signed on February 22, 2022 by Cameroon's Minister of Public Health, Manawuda Malachi, who spelled it out that the objective of the campaign is to strengthen the current achievements in managing the pandemic both nationally and globally. Also, the vaccination campaign offers an opportunity to further contain the virus from circulating and to speed up a return to everyday life. According to the press release, the campaign targets people aged 18 and above, with a particular interest in persons aged 50 and above, health personnel, and those with underlying health conditions like diabetes, hypertension, and others. It is worth mentioning that one of 3 vaccines will be offered to the target populations during the campaign. They are Johnson & Johnson with single-dose protocol, Pfizer or Sinopharm with 2-dose protocol. However, the communique also reveals that a booster dose will be administered to those who have already completed vaccination schedule with the joint recommendations of the Scientific Council for Public Health Emergencies and the National Immunization Technical Advisory Group of January 2022. Note here that the vaccines will be offered in health facilities and also through mobile teams in markets, places of worship, chiefdoms, enterprises, administrative structures, as well as door-to-door visits.
And news out of the country, the world is awestruck as Russia finally invades Ukraine with multiple missile attacks after amassing more than 150,000 troops at the Ukraine border since last year. Bukengo Wadi with details.
Europe finds itself at war as Russia launches attack on Ukraine.
Russia has attacked our state in a cunning way, is in the way that the Nazi Germany did during the Second World War. From today, our countries are on opposing sides of world history. Russia is on the path of evil, but much depends on the Russian people. The people of Russia will have to choose which path each of them takes. Anyone in Russia who has not lost their honor, they have time to come out and protest against this war.
According to the United States President, Joe Biden, this attack is without justification, validation, and unprovoked.
The Russian military has begun a brutal assault on the people of Ukraine. Without provocation, without justification, without necessity, this is a premeditated attack. Vladimir Putin has been planning this for months, as we've been saying all along. He moved more than 175,000 troops, military equipment and positions along the Ukrainian border. He moved blood supplies into position and built a field hospital, which tells you all you need to know about his intentions all along. He rejected every good faith effort the United States and our allies and partners made to address our mutual security concerns through dialogue to avoid needless conflict and avert human suffering. Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences.
However, Russia's President Vladimir Putin said, I decided on February 22 to launch a special military operation with the aim of protecting persons who are victims of abuse, genocide for almost 8 years in Ukraine. That is why I intend to demilitarize Ukraine and pursue justice. We have no intention of occupying Ukraine. So for those who may be tempted to meddle in this ongoing event, who may want to interfere, stop or threaten us, our country and people, know that Russia will respond immediately, and the consequences will be one that you have never seen or faced before. Nonetheless, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres urges Russia to choose peace.
I repeat my appeal from last night to President Putin. Stop the military operation. Bring the troops back to Russia. It's not too late to save this generation from the scourge of war. We need peace.
It is worth mentioning that for centuries past, Ukraine was part of the Russian Empire that gained independence in 1991. As a former Soviet republic, Ukraine had deep social and cultural ties with Russia up till 2014, when Russia invaded the country and seized large parts of eastern Ukraine. This created tensions between Russia and Ukraine and escalated last year when the Ukrainian President Zelensky urged U.S. President Biden to let Ukraine join NATO. This move angered Russia's Putin, who demanded that NATO holds no military activity in Eastern Europe and Ukraine, while he kept amassing troops near Ukraine's border since mid last year. Though Putin had refused claims of attacking Ukraine with its amassed troops, Russia on Thursday, February 24, 2020, invaded Ukraine with the launching of more than 160 missiles in multiple cities. These have taken the lives of about 137 civilian and military personnel, leaving more injured in panic, fear, as well as uncertainties.
Okengo Worthy's report ends today's edition of Prime News on My Media Prime Television. Coming up next is Prime Hour with Kumlena Anesti. My name is Fon Quinter. Have a great weekend in the company of more programs on the African Eye. Good night.